So what are we going to do with these? What I'd like you to do is create some sort of a design. This will be sort of a fun thing to do. This exercise requires that you do a little bit design work. You can find a botanical photograph in a magazine or a book, as long as it's not a piece of artwork. Or you can take some of your own drawings from drawing 3, where you did some organic renderings, and take parts of it and create a design within a 2 by 2 inch space. So if you'll see what I have here, I have a part of a daisy, I have a leaf, I have another part of a daisy here, and I've created kind of a fun, almost abstract design out of what I had as from my original source. So then you're going to take this and you are going to draw off 5 boxes on your watercolor paper. As you can see, I've used this as a demonstration before, and the first one here is the analogous, where I've used the 3 to 4 colors next to one another on the color wheel. So we have yellow, green, we have green, and we have tints of those colors as well. I started to do a split complementary. This one was the purple with the yellow orange and the yellow green. This was done as a demonstration as well. All you have to do is take this tracing and lay it on the geometric square that you've put on your paper, and you need to do this 5 times. Be sure to transfer this carefully. I want you to take as much time with your drawing as you have with your painting itself. Otherwise, your paintings are going to look a bit ragged, and they're not going to look very accurate in terms of the rendering that you're doing. So I emphasize this again. Make sure that you transfer your drawings very, very carefully, and that you do the initial drawings very carefully to begin with. So what I'll do here is I'm going to just continue with this triadic color scheme, and you can do whatever you want with this. You can color it in any way that you want. This will be one of these projects where you can have a little fun with it. You can charge things if you want to, or you can fill in flat areas, or you can blend them. However you think you might want to do this will be fine. So that's our goal here, to create 5 different color schemes for this particular project. So as you can see, at this point, I have transferred this tracing onto the other 3 areas that I'm going to create color schemes for. And I'm just going to lift some of the transfer so that we have a kind of a nice light reference, and that pencil doesn't get mixed into the watercolor and make a dirty finish. Now I'm going to go back into this split complementary piece right here and do a little bit more work on it. After looking at it more closely, I realized that the base color here was sap green, and then I'm using a red violet and a yellow orange. So I've remixed those colors, and I want to first of all clean this up a little bit because it's looking a little bit raggy. So I'm going to start with my green, and I'm going to clean this up. Now green is very forgiving, so if it's been sitting for a while, it's very happy to lift and move itself around for you. Just you tell it where you want it to go and it'll go there. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Clean up this green a little bit, and maybe even create a little bit more interest by make it a little more graded, so it's not so flat. All right, now I think what I'm going to do here is work with this yellow orange, and you can actually, with all of these color schemes, you can add, you can dilute the color first of all, and then you can also, if you want to add a little bit of black. Maybe I'll do this to the violet here, and I notice that I'm missing a line, so I'm going to make this area in here a little darker just by taking my violet that I've mixed. So I'm going to add a little bit of neutral tint, which acts like black, and I'm going to actually fill in this area here a little bit more accurately and make it darker than the section next to it, even though the other is also violet. Remember, don't leave any puddles. You can always go back in and change or the saturation. Okay. Now I think along this side edge here, which is green here, I think I'm going to make that yellow. And I'm going to lay in a flat color of yellow. Remember, when to get to your edges, change the position of your brush so that it's vertical, and you can get a nice point along the edge of the shape. In these small areas, it's almost pertinent that you actually work with the brush completely vertically so that you can control those areas that are real small areas where you can just get the tip of the brush into the into that space. And I think what I'll do now also is I will add a little bit more yellow to this so that it contrasts with the background shape that I just painted. So you just can keep going like this and come up with solutions that you like. And just kind of have fun with it. You can always go back and change something if you want to. I'm going to go pretty dark green here in this other background area. Maybe I'll even add a little bit of neutral tint just to darken that green a little bit. And that'll create a nice contrast with those light shapes that are in the foreground. And you can see I've just got this puddle that keeps moving around until I've totally filled the shape. So I get a nice even color. And then you can always go back in later and put a gradation in there in order to give it a little bit more interest. So there's another background. And I may, while it's wet, go in a little darker in some sections. And that'll create a little bit more contrast. And one more color here. Maybe you do a really light green. Here I'm going back into this dark area now that it's dry and putting another layer on. And I'm probably going to need to do it again in order to get some more contrast out of it. Okay, so there's only one section left to do, and this little split complementary painting will be complete. There you have it.